this is what it comes down to, and I appreciate that you actually still have some emotion towards it, because that means it's real, right? I was reading this book, it's called Atomic Habits, and that's all it is, Atomic Habits, Atomic Habits. Until, see, you're not seeing yourself, this is where the identity shift, this is the identity shift that needs to happen, right? You have to see yourself as this shining, just, man, massively, abundantly successful business superstar CEO woman. Until you see yourself as that person, then you'll get rid of that job. You get what I'm saying? Then you'll change your habits. When you see yourself as that massively successful, abundant woman of business, you know? Because again, your habits don't begin to change. Like if you try to force your habits to change based off who you are right now, it's hard. You'll just go back into the cycle. But if you change your habits based off who you want to become, then your habits begin to change. You know what I mean? It was like pulling teeth to get me to leave my job, because I thought just like you, because I was so high up in the corporate ladder that I didn't really have to work. You know what I mean? I didn't really have to work. I had so much freedom, just like you. I come, I go, whatever. I had people under me that did everything already. You know, you do a little more than I used to have to, because you know I was in management and I didn't have to call or sell anybody anything. I just managed people, right? But let me ask you this. Do you know any successful CEO that is doing what you're doing, that's juggling a full-time job and they're massively successful with their own venture? No, right? Because you only have 100% to give. You only have 100% to give. And I know that you may think, you're like, oh man, you know, I promise you this, because this is something that Sal used to hit me over the head with. He used to be like, bro, right now, you may not know this, but you're literally stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. By keeping your job, you know, because it took me a year to leave that job, a year. I refused. It wasn't because of the lack of money, the lack of deals, we already had like a company, a full-blown company kind of going at that time, you know what I mean? And I would refuse to leave that job because of my mindset. I was like, no, I feel secure here. We're talking about her leaving her job, and I know she's heard it from different people, but unlike a lot of other people, I was in her exact situation back in 2015, where I had a six-figure job, right? I had a great paying job. When I sold him my first deal, I had a fucking job. Yep. I was Facebook messaging him about this deal from my job, because I had all the time in the world, because you know I didn't have to leave that job. You know what I mean? But man, as soon as I left that job, holy shit, things just fucking exploded. Things exploded, because now, that whether you like it or not, there is some mental real estate that's being occupied by that job. You know, you even having to think about that job. You even having to make some calls here and there. I asked you, I'm like, well, don't you have a bare minimum that you have to make? Yeah, I have a bare minimum. I just got to do this much. That's already way too much. You having a minimum quota that you have to meet with that job is already taken away from your creativity and your productivity on your entrepreneurship journey. I promise. And you know what? You may not know this right now and you may not see this right now. That's okay. Because I promise you this, at some point, if things continue to go the way they're going for you on that job, on your venture, you're starting to build up and make more flips and get more money, at one point, you're gonna fucking leave that job.
I'm already making more so far year to date with real estate.
You can do 2 flips in 1 month and make more than you would in 1 year, right? So at one point, I promise you this, you will look back on this conversation and all the other previous conversations that you've had about this particular subject, and you're gonna say, holy shit, they were right. Because right now, you know, you're right here, right? Here you are with your job, and here's your flips, and here's your little, your little side gigs you got, because it's still a side gig. People like me that have already been where you are right now, I can already see that far. See, you can't see that far. You can only see this, right? And I'm telling you, hey, I promise you, once you get rid of this, once you get rid of this job, now you have the power to actually create a lot more for yourself with where you're headed and what you're doing, you know? So I promise that will happen. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
It's scary.
I know, I was there. I imagine myself as this person that's in like, not only is he financially successful, right? But he's actually a very like healthy person. How can I sit here and try to tell people how to live their lives and what kind of discipline they need to have if I'm not there myself in some ways, right? That's the alignment. The alignment is, you know, mind, body, soul, you know what I mean? Like, how can I tell somebody to be disciplined if I don't have the discipline? And guess what? Part of that discipline is this. That's part of that discipline, eating. That's the biggest discipline that a person can have. Bro, I haven't had a meal today. Ask him, have I ate today? He's like, what? I had some peanuts, I had some trail mix. That was my shit. You know, like I had fucking 60 ounces of water and some trail mix, right? As soon as this dude went to my house, he's like, hey bro, let's go get a sandwich. That's something that I changed, even my eating habits, right? Because guess what? Look at, I'll prove it to you that you spend time and energy and mental capacity thinking about your job. You ready? All right. What does a man think about all day? What are several things a man thinks about all day, right? Sex, money, and food. So if I eliminate, I'm married, I don't have to think about sex all day and think, who am I gonna conquer today to have sex with? I don't have to think about that shit anymore. Boom, all right, so boom, eliminate that, right? What's next? Money, I'm already financially successful. So let me eliminate that factor. Food, well, I fast till about 2 p.m. So bro, it takes you so much energy to think about the food you're gonna, like, what am I gonna eat today? What am I gonna eat today? What am I gonna eat today? It takes you so much energy to think about the food you're gonna eat today, and then it takes you energy to eat the fucking food, and then it takes you fucking energy to digest the fucking food. So now I've eliminated all three, so what does that give me? That expands my capacity, right? To be more creative and think of more ideas and how, you know, my next business venture, how I can be a better, you see what I'm saying? Right? So in your case, you think about your job, whether you like it or not, then you got to do your job. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm using that metaphor with food, you don't think you do that with your job? Every single day you think about your job. Imagine not having to think about your job every day. You don't think that's going to create something somewhere else in your life? It is. I promise it is. It is. You're going to create more opportunities. You're going to meet more people. You're going to find more deals, find your next deal quicker, sooner, right? It's going to expand your capacity because now you're eliminating that. So, I mean, that's just what it is. You may not know this now, but